Hey guys, good evening from rainy and cold Seattle. Hope you're all doing well. Everyone in Europe will probably get this video tomorrow morning. I hope you're all sort of settled down. You were able to sleep after the game last night. Olympiacos goes down to Real Madrid 4-3 in the Karaiskakis. I'm Labros Shirmos, your host for the evening. It's going to be a short review video, guys, tonight, just talking about the game a little bit. We'd love to see your engagement on the chat, on Twitter, on Instagram. Just hear your thoughts on the game and how this Champions League campaign has really turned out. I guess we can start off from the top. Jose Luis Mendilibar started the team, we thought he was going to start, except Mujakitis coming in for Eze. A questionable decision. We knew we needed defensive running and support. Eze, I think, was missed, especially after our first goal in the first half, but Mujakitis had a great game. Danny Garcia, another game to forget for him. But let's jump into it, guys. Olympiacos broke the deadlock 1-0 with one of our, I think, goal of the season for us. Beautifully worked goal. El Kabi Chiquinho Podence goal that was worked beautifully. Chiquinho with the beautiful finish. And, when we went up 1-0, there was this feeling like, oh my God, say it ain't so, we're going to do it. We're going to beat this Real Madrid team. But it just wasn't to be, As we built into the game, I think we saw the difference of levels, just a team worth 1.5, 1.6 billion euros versus a team worth 100 million euros. So we just, we couldn't handle the pressure and the quality. The press that Olympiacos plays was just overwhelmed by Real. At moments, it just felt like they were playing through us. By the time the first, second, third goal came in that first half, it just felt like it was a training exercise for Real Madrid. Of course, the injury to Chiquinho really hurt us, hurt the momentum. Taremi came on, we got bombarded on our social media because, at halftime we posted about, the slow movement of Taremi and just the inability to press. When Chiquinho came off, we lost the shape in the press, and it just, we've seen this again and again when Taremi comes on, when he plays in that second striker formation, the role of that second striker, we've seen it in the past. Sergio Oliveira failed so miserably in that position because he was unable to press in the Mendilibar system. And here we now have Taremi, who similarly is unable to press, but his quality is just incredible. The goal scoring, the passing, the movement, it makes up for his inability, his lack of movement. It really, in our tweet, we talked about, James Rodriguez and the similarities, and Taremi's at a higher level than Rodriguez was, but the similarities are there in that Taremi is just with James, when James came to Olympiacos, it was kind of like you loved him or you hated him because the quality the guy had was incredible, the goals, the passes, but there was a moment, where he was running and he literally could not run. He couldn't run anymore. And there's this feeling, and I saw some of our Iranian fans, comment on this, and maybe some will comment on this video, that he has some sort of long dealt with injury that's hurt his mobility. And it really, the way he moves, I'm not going to say I followed the guy's career since the beginning, but like there is a feeling that there's an injury or something or a knock that his movement is not as fluid, as you would expect for a footballer at this level. Maybe that's something we just have to get used with Taremi. And, the quality, the goals, the assists will come. It's just like with Oliveira, just like with other players at Olympiacos, when the players don't fit the system, is the manager going to keep playing them, and, if you're scoring and assisting like Taremi, maybe you continue to play, but it really hurts the entire system of Olympiacos. And I think that's one thing, some of our newer fans from Iran haven't understood, that the system for Mendilibar is everything. So the moment that you have one player that's unable to run and press effectively, especially in that second striker position, the whole thing kind of is a house of cards. And it felt like we saw that, when he came on, just like we saw it in PSV. Like against PSV, the whole system just collapsed the last 15 to 20 minutes after Taremi's entrance. But I don't want to beat up on that because he's a quality player. We're extremely lucky and fortunate to have a player of his talent and experience in the team. But you also have this feeling that maybe Taremi is not, the Mendilibar fit. Does that matter? No. Like a lot of us on this podcast have claimed, we want Yazici to play, we want Gabea to play, two players who do not fit the Mendilibar way. So let's not get stuck up on that. I think the second half, we saw the click with Olympiacos. We came back and we fought. It was the ability to have dropped off. After the red card against Barcelona, the team just collapsed completely. And there was a gut feeling there after 3 and the disallowed goal at 4 that like we were looking at a complete collapse from Olympiacos tonight. Like this was going to be a historically bad night for Olympiacos. It could have been 4-5-1 by halftime, and Mendilibar is sitting there with his press football, and you're just going, we can't play this way. We can't play this way against Barcelona. We can't play this way against Real Madrid. It's suicide. But the team turned it around. The halftime talk was great. Eze's entrance really helped the team push forward. The pressing was stronger. Mouzakitis was playing, I think, more comfortably. But we need to talk about another player. I think there's 2 players that really, are at the heart of the drop points tonight. Rodinei is this the end of Rodinei at Olympiacos? Like, I leave it to the chat. You guys can talk about it, but you're not going anywhere in Europe with Rodinei at right back. I think it's completely over for Rodinei. For me, it's been a great story for Greece as a second backup right back. Yes, but if we are going to take a next step as Olympiacos, we need to just play Costinha. Is Costinha maybe at, the top level? I think he can be. Maybe he isn't there right now, but the thing with Rodinei is the defensive lapses. You cannot defend with Rodinei in 2025 against Real Madrid or Barcelona or whoever else we want to talk about. So for me, Rodinei cost the team a result today. Extremely poor. Extremely poor from Rodinei today. And you have to think to yourself, there's been, he does the little social media things. People really like him, but, in Greece, in Olympiacos, man, the goodwill runs out really quick. We've talked about that a lot on this podcast, the jokes and blah, blah, blah. I think he's put himself in a really difficult position by, sort of joking and making a laugh, and I drink Freddo Espresso, and I love Greece, and I sing songs. That's all good and fun when you're winning and playing well. But when you're overweight and you're struggling and you've let the team down, if you look back, almost I take 3 goals at least, Rodinei is at fault. It can't continue like that. It can't continue. So I'd say 3 players, are at fault. Zoulakis, again, just poor tonight, coming out stupidly, rashly. And you watch the goals and, everyone, this is the thing with the goalkeeper. You say, oh, it was difficult. He couldn't save it. But that top goalkeeper will save 1 or 2 of them. Real Madrid, I think, had an XG of 1.6. I know some of those were difficult. But a top goalkeeper saves 1 or 2 of them. And if you want a result at this level, like, you need some heroics. Like, some of you, some Olympiacos fans, some of our longtime followers, you guys remember the Roberto games at Arsenal or Roberto versus Juventus when we won 1-0 at home. Like, you need heroics. You need heroics. And can you say, yes, okay, he couldn't have done better, it was a difficult shot? Yes. But the goalkeeper that drives you forward at this level does the heroics, does the unexpected. And Zoulakis this season has been far from his best. And you're now sitting here, we're at the end of November, and you're thinking, what has happened to this guy? Like, his career can go this or it can go this. We've seen this before with Greek goalkeepers. Has he been burned? Has he lost complete confidence? What's next? So for me, Zoulakis, I think we should be worried. I think we all are worried, and we got to see what's next. And before we talk about the next player, we would love it if you could drop a like and subscribe. I know this isn't a typical live, but we wanted to do something for all of you. Vangelis and Konstantinos Costa with a C were in the stadium tonight, and we're unable to do a live draw. Ari Bouloubasis was cooking Thanksgiving dinner for tomorrow, so you guys have me tonight to talk about the game. Martial also was unavailable, so I know we like to do the lives, but if you can like and subscribe, you like what we're seeing, support the channel. And also support us on Patreon if you really are a crazy Olympiacos and crazy Thrylos international fan. Just $1 gets you in the door, and you get to join our group chat where the craziness happens. So we'd love to see you guys on Patreon and join us. So anyway, the third player I want to talk about is Daniel Podence. Was it good enough tonight from Daniel Podence? The floor is yours, guys. Again, comment what you think. For me, we saw when Srefeta came on. Srefeta, a guy who's eaten a lot of criticism, but we saw, what a winger is supposed to do at this level: direct, cross, simple pass. And Podence, for me, gave the ball away too many times. He gave the ball away. I think it was on the second goal. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Daniel Podence shares a lot of blame for the result as well. Really bad game from Daniel Podence today. He left his defense exposed, didn't do much, wasn't very creative. I don't know, guys. He's a good player. We have memories of the guy. He's 29. He's going 30. Is that what we need in the Champions League? Was that? Does anyone here want to say that was good enough tonight from Daniel Podence? I don't know. Srefeta played really well. So I'd love to hear comments on what you guys think of Daniel Podence so far. We're reaching the halfway mark in the season. He's played really well. He scored some great goals, but it seems like at this level sometimes Podence for me feels like Europa League bottom tier Champions League player. And, he really excelled in the Conference League, but in Europe, you expect the guy to do the difference, and he didn't make the difference tonight. So I don't know what you all think. I also thought, Ortega, bad game, looked slow, tough. He wasn't attacked as much down his side as much as Rodinei. Rodinei was clear. The coach's destruction, plant Vinicius on him, go at that guy Rodinei over and over and over and over again. And the strategy from Xabi Alonso tonight worked on Rodinei, so leave it at that. But yeah, what I think one of the last questions I do before I start wrapping this up, it's difficult to talk for 20 minutes, is what do you guys think of Mendilibar here? Do you think like we can keep playing this football, this kamikaze style of all-out attack? Or, I was texting with some friends. After the 1-0, logically, any other team in Europe goes, okay, we took 1-0 at home versus Real Madrid. Like, let's take a step back. Let's get 1-0 into halftime and reevaluate. But we can't do that. We can't do that as a club, and we just got destroyed for it. So I don't know, guys. I think maybe as much as Rodinei was to blame for tonight, he was deeply exposed because of the system played by Mendilibar. He got no favors done to him. Like, the reason we can score 3 goals and be competitive is Mendilibar. But the reason that, we eat 4 and we look like we could eat 6 or 7 is also Mendilibar. So we're playing with fire here. So I'd love to hear from you guys what you think. I thought, now that we look at it, we step back 4-3. Olympiacos went toe-to-toe with Real Madrid. there at the end, they were wasting time and we were attacking and we were driving the game. And, there's nothing more that we could have wanted coming out of this game was than having a chance with 15 minutes left to go. And we had the chance. We had the chance. And Javi Alonso said it, Olympiacos, in the Vatmolo, the standings had, they're lower than they should be. And I think anyone who's watching this agrees. Olympiacos should be on 6 points right now in the Champions League. And instead, because, παιδικά λάθη, childish mistakes, Olympiacos is at the bottom 4 of the Champions League. We're looking, to qualify now. We need a win at Kairat next game. We probably need a win against Bayer Leverkusen at home. And we got to finish with a win against Ajax, who's the worst team in the competition this year. So we'll see. Is it possible, guys? What do you think? Drop your ideas in the comment section. I think it's really difficult. I don't know how we're going to get a result in Kazakhstan in December. I don't know. Kerat, of course, lost today on the road against Copenhagen as one of the early games. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think. So now let's talk man of the match. Coach's grade. Guys, for me, man of the match had to be, now that I'm thinking about it, it's difficult. Taremi was great when he came on. But I think it was El Kabi, guys. The running, the pressing, the effort, the goal, I should say. I think he really made a difference. He almost scored the 4th one. He was so close. And, I think Gelson Martins is in for a shout. Musakitis had a brilliant game. But I think El Kabi, man, that press, that ability to run, that ability to keep the pressure and to lift up the stadium, to lift up the team, made the whole difference. Made the whole difference there. He inspired belief in the players. The fact that he was running nonstop and giving the press and scored the goal, I think really drove people to keep believing. And you saw it with his teammates around him. So I want to say also Strefetsa, brilliant appearance tonight. There's been critique, there's been comments, but I think Strefetsa was brilliant tonight. I think he should start on the weekends. I think we should start giving this guy some match fitness. Daniel Podence, I didn't mention, had a knock to the knee. It looked bad, like an overextension almost. We're going to hear back about that soon, probably tomorrow, the day after. He's going to have scans, so we'll see what the status is on him. But Strefetsa has to enter. We need to see Strefetsa at some point. So, yeah. Coach is great for me. I think Mendilibar, you know what? I would give him a B+. I think for the first time in this Champions League campaign, he reacted correctly and made the correct subs. Rodinei from the start was a mistake. Garcia was a mistake. I would have started Eze in the midfield with Musakitis. I think those two tonight solidified their position in the midfield from now on. But he reacted well. Decisions were clean. Subs were at the right time, not too late. So I'll give Mendilibar a B+ for tonight. I think he fought well. And finally, an A+ for the fans tonight, guys. I think we really had a great showing tonight in all of Europe. I think the choreo was great. Great night for Olympiacos as a product, as fans, showing what we can do, showing that we can fight with the best in the world. But at some point, again, comment if you agree, this team needs to get results. We saw against Barcelona, Olympiacos fought until the red card. Okay. Against PSV, Olympiacos dominated but couldn't get a result. Tonight versus Real Madrid, Olympiacos looked in the eyes of Real Madrid and fought to the end. All of that's great. But at some point in the Champions League, if you want to progress and if you want to be serious, you need to win. You need to get results. And if you actually want to do something, other than be written up in Greek newspapers about how, you fought and you showed a good face, which is an achievement in of its own, you need a result. And this team's going to need results. 3 games in a row. Can they win 3 straight games? Can they do it? we'll see. We will see, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I'll hit it one more time. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. What did I miss? What did I botch? Drop it in the comments section down below and let's talk about it. To Iranian fans, let us know what's up with Taremi. I know he's super talented, but is there something going on? Is there an injury there? What's the story there? Because he's an interesting player. Anyway, guys, this was Thrylos International. Have a great start to your Thursday morning. For everyone in the United States or Greek American following, please enjoy your Thanksgiving. Everyone else, we will be back on the weekends to talk Olympiacos. Is it Kifisia? Let's see. Panatolikos. So we're playing Panatolikos on the weekend. So we'll be back to talk Olympiacos, Panatolikos, and I'm sure this game will also come up with the larger group. So, guys, thank you so much. I'm Labros Sirmos, your co-host here at Thrylos International. Have a great day. Drop comments, engage in the discussion, Twitter, Instagram, here on YouTube. We'll talk to you later. Bye.